Senator Whitmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I personally have had some pretty hard days here in the Senate this term. I think this is my lowest point personally. As passed today, bullying kids is okay if a student, parent, teacher, or school employee can come up with a moral or religious reason for doing it. There are at least 10 Michigan children in the past decade whose deaths are directly attributable to bullying. But had this bill that you're going to pass today been law in effect while they were alive, how many of their deaths would have been prevented? 0. And the saddest and sickest irony of this whole thing is that it's called Matt's Safe School Law. And it wouldn't have done a damn thing to save Matt. Matt Safe School Law, which is also known as the anti-bullying law, is a piece of legislation that we've been working on for over 8 years. It's named after a young man named Matt Epling, who grew up here in East Lansing and took his own life after a horrifying hazing incident and repeated bullying at school. The bill came out of the Senate committee, and it was kind of a watered-down anti-bullying bill. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle, the Republican majority, amended that bill to permit exemptions for religious or moral reasons.
What the change was is it actually gave a license to bully if you were doing it because it was based on a religious belief. It was so crazy, absolutely absurd. And, you know, luckily it put Michigan in the spotlight.
We became a laughingstock of the nation. I mean, we saw national press follow this. Stephen Colbert do a piece on this. The Republican House hated that bill so much they killed the bill and ran their own bill that actually does require that every district have a policy. It doesn't excuse bullying for any reason.
However, the bill is still terrible. The bill is non-enumerated, and let me tell you what that means. Enumeration means no bullying based on height, weight, gender, sexual orientation, race. And it's important to call those categories out.
That is what the bill would look like if I had the gavel. However, with Republican control in the legislature, enumeration will not be an issue that's going to get addressed in the near future.
Well, I don't know that you can ever legislate everything, and that's the problem with some of this. I think it has to be a cultural shift. I mean, in terms of whether it's a school district or a workplace or wherever the issue is, I think it has to be a philosophy that you're going to treat people with respect, and there's going to be responsibility in that. It just can't be legislated. Everything can't be legislated.
I'm not thinking that we need Matt's law and a more emphasis on bullying to necessarily do what we're doing to keep everybody safe and secure here in this building, because our kids are telling us they do feel safe and secure even without that bullying law being in effect.
Student bullying is really, I don't think it's as common as what maybe the media makes it sound like.
I think one of the challenges with bullying is that we apply one word to all situations.
When you call it bullying, it's a little more severe, and that's one of the things that makes it tough. Is this really bullying, or is this just kids being kids, and a lot of times, unfortunately, guys being guys, because a lot of times what you get is you get a group of boys together and they just pick on each other just as a way of almost being social. And I would deem that guys being guys, right?
This relentless tormenting and harassment that some kids go through is not kids being kids. This arises to such a hateful, mean-spirited place where kids they're crying because they don't want to get out of their parents' car when they bring them to school. This is very real and so devastating that kids take their lives, and that's why it's got to stop.
I think 99.9% of school districts are where we are right now with not tolerating any bullying anyway, so.
Just this week in Illinois, however, a 10-year-old, Ashlyn Connor, committed suicide as a result of being bullied. She was a pom-pom girl. She went from long hair to a little page boy haircut and was mercilessly bullied and called a boy over a period of time. And the pressure was so much that she hung herself. Her grandmother was her caregiver, and she said, I was going to talk to the principal next week. I don't know what was happening with her where it couldn't wait. Which also shows a disconnect around the pain that these children experience.
You know, long gone are the days where your interaction with other students took place only at the bus stop all the way to when you get home. Now with technology, it's 24/7.
This whole technology issue has presented a whole set of problems that many of us in education were not prepared to deal with. And for us to stay on top of it is going to be a challenge for the future.
Specifically cyberbullying, whether it's by text or by Facebook or however. If we have faculty and administration stepping in for these children and empowering bystanders, it'll create a culture of peer pressure that says, we don't do this.
That floor speech that got over 400,000 hits on YouTube went viral because everybody knows somebody who's been through it. It gets better. And speaking out and helping other kids and standing up for yourself and other kids is a hugely commendable thing to do. But knowing that it gets better, I think, is something that we've got to remind all kids, because while kids will be kids, this bullying is beyond anything that's acceptable in our schools. It's beyond kids being kids, way beyond it.